You're listening to the Gettin' Salty Experience podcast.
And away we go. I waited this time. Come on. Fool me once, shame on me. Yep. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Whatever. Welcome back to the Gettin' Salty Experience podcast. It's the only one that brings all the stories from the kitchen table, the apparatus floor, those late nights on the rig, in the bunk room, all those stories. We bring it to you, right, Ruff?
Yeah, from the basement.
We definitely do.
I don't know about the basement.
Sorry. Next day on the basement.
Basement with anybody?
Huh?
You ever take a trip to the basement with anybody?
Actually, no, I didn't have to. I got out of a couple pretty
You
good.
did?
You know what it is. If you present well,
Right.
you could back people down too. You know what I mean? I have the crazy face. I used to have the crazy eyes, so I think that worked for me.
And the crazy Guinea Italian pepper, right?
Right.
My son calls his Uncle Switch because it's the angle. It's like throwing a light switch. He goes from 0 to 100. Pew! He's red.
We finally got this guy, huh? This guy.
Oh, he was doing the Matrix.
This was from when we first started. When we first started, we said, "Who could we get?" When you brought this idea to about the show, we said, "Who are we going to get?" Right? Who'd you say? We said Hank, got Murphy, Kelly.
You sure you didn't say
Mr. Randy
Watson?
I heard that name come up. No.
He's on the next.
But guy would never retire.
No.
Well,
Just
he
keeps
lives
working.
the fire service, bro. You know what I mean?
I know.
They had to roll him out. He just did retire, right? It was 2 weeks ago or something.
A couple of weeks ago, he just said he's finally he's actually out. I mean, he was at he was still a chief in the volunteers, and he was still teaching out in Suffolk, I believe.
Wow. The guy who's living it. And we got a lot of good stories with this fellow. Very funny guy.
We were just laughing in the pre-show, right? I
He looks good too. Got that head of hair.
Yeah, he's always been like that.
Him and I have some similarities there.
He does have a very good.
He does.
He's got a little more salt than pepper now, though.
Oh, yeah. He was a salt and pepper guy.
It's always salt and pepper, but now he's a little more salt. But he's salty.
Oh, he's a salty guy.
That's
What are you drinking there? We got a little mother's milk. What
am I drinking? I'm drinking Jack Daniel's honey tonight.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
did you know Ruffy had his sweet 16 for his daughter this weekend? How was it? A lot of tears?
It was.
A lot of crocodile?
She did good.
You and number 2 candle or something?
What's so funny is she doesn't really give me anything. 16 years, I kind of think she hates me to death. But when she gave the little speech, she was pulling out some stops there. I was surprised she actually is listening to me. Yeah.
Did you have did you have to wipe a couple away?
Oh, come on, you know me. I'm a hot guy.
Yeah.
So was anything like give her a little shout out there?
There you go. Melly Mel for Sweet 16. Happy birthday,
happy
Melly
birthday.
Mel.
That's awesome.
Sweet 16. Good
That
for
was
you,
good.
buddy. Mom had to be number 1 candle, right?
She was number 1.
Yeah.
You know what the last candle was? That was for my mom, my dad, and my father-in-law. That was like a tear.
Everybody was balling.
Oh, my God.
She was a ball. Man,
Everybody was balling.
What'd you have? A lot of eggplant bomb, a lot of pasta.
We had a little chicken franchise, of course. We had sugar reganata. We had
the eggplant.
We had steak.
Chicken
We had steak for the Irish. So it was good.
We have boil some meat and some potatoes in a pot for the Irish.
Gave them a couple taters. Yeah.
Of-
I'm not an animal.
A couple of rigatoni, penne. What do you got? Spaghetti, ravioli. What?
We had penne alla vodka. Come on, you know them. You
come
know the
on.
menu. You already know the menu.
Gonzo, take the gun out. That's what that guy. He went to the place last night, and that night he was like this.
It's like, we had the Italian music playing in the background. That's how you gotta have it all. You gotta do it right.
Wonderful. All right, listen, I want to get this guy in here because we got a lot of stories to go over, bro. So get to the commercials quickly so we can get
all right, here we go.
In.
Let's listen to our friends from Armor Tough.
Armor Tough interlocking floor tiles are the best choice to replace new or aging, stained, or cracked concrete or epoxy floors. Here's why. Armor Tough tiles come with a lifetime warranty and are usually installed in 1 or 2 days, depending on the size of your station, with virtually no disruption in daily operation. Armor Tough interlocking tiles are guaranteed from chipping, cracking, peeling, breaking, or staining. Once installed, the tiles are non-skid and non-slip and meet the ADA standards for the friction coefficient. The tiles are stain resistant and impervious to any chemicals or volatiles that are used in the fire service. Once installed, your floor will be easy to clean with just soap and water. Install an Armor Tough tile floor in your apparatus bays, offices, training rooms, workshops, exercise rooms, kitchens, banquet halls, or any other room in your station. Call Vince today for a no-obligation quote at 908-917-7697. Why install a breakable epoxy floor that will need replacing in 5 to 10 years when you could have a floor that will last a lifetime? Drop a halogen on an Armor Tough floor and you won't see any damage. Don't try this with concrete or epoxy. Join the hundreds of career and volunteer fire departments nationwide who have chosen an Armor Tough interlocking tile floor. Armor Tough interlocking tiles are half the price of epoxy and will last a lifetime without issue. Again, call Vince today for a no-obligation quote at 908-917-7697.
Oh yeah. All right, let's roll right into the second one.
Yes.
From first responder.
Get all out of the way.
Yeah.
The First Responders Center for Excellence is a not-for-profit organization dedicated to protecting the lives and livelihoods of first responders. Their education and research initiatives aim to bring greater awareness and understanding to the challenges to the health, safety, and well-being of firefighters, EMS personnel, and other first responders too. They are an affiliate of the National Fallen Firefighter Foundation.
And the old school health and safety tip tonight is, you ready for this one?
Yes.
Following a fire, shower as soon as possible before cleaning the tools. The sooner we remove contamination from firefighters, the lower the exposure. Tools and equipment will never get cancer, but firefighters can. So get in there, rinse the ball bag up, clean the shit off, and then go clean the tools. All right?
Get the twig and berries.
And I just saw, he's in the, we are graced this evening. We haven't seen him in a while, this guy. Mike Milner coming in hot. Mike Milner, hey, he's coming in hot.
What's going on,
What's
Mr.
going
Milner?
on, Mike?
Gentlemen.
All right. Is that all we got?
Well, we have ours. Let's knock out. Let's hear.
We can skip that one tonight.
Okay, let's skip it. I'm okay with that.
Just tell them how to get into the super chat. They want us to get the questions. You know what I mean, Mike?
Yes. Tonight's is going to be a great night for the super chat, everybody. Again, if you want to support the show, hit us up in the super chat. If you have a question for Mr. Kelly tonight, please do so in the super chat. That is the best way to get them answered. We'll get that done
Wonderful.
right away.
Ruff, I'll let you bring him in. You're the man. Do it.
All right. Coming to the stage. This is Kevin and I's one of our favorite lieutenants that we had the opportunity to work with and the privilege to work with, Lieutenant Tim Kelly.
Woo! There he is. Look at him. He looks great.
Definitely more salt.
Finally.
Definitely more salt.
We finally got him, bro. I had so many unanswered texts, bro, and then finally he reappeared out of nowhere. I don't know what happened.
Well, I was texting him. I had the wrong number.
Me too.
So
that's why I wasn't answering it.
That wasn't the wrong thing.
Maybe he didn't really like me. Maybe that's
we left that part out. We were sending him we were texting the wrong number. But it doesn't make a good story.
Probably had him as a guest.
like 2 years.
Some random on.
All right, before we go any further, we got to be patriotic before we get lost in the weeds over here.
Yeah, we was almost doing so. Okay, stand by. Here we go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wonderful. What's the and we would be remiss. What is the word of the day?
You ready?
Yeah.
Give it a face.
Go. I don't know what it is.
Newman.
Newman. Wait, you didn't do the Mr. Sound Effects guy.
All right, the lid.
I saw your finger there, so I thought we were gonna. I don't want to overshare.
I'm gonna hit that one right out of the box. That story real quick.
You want do it? Go ahead.
Yeah,
before we get into his
because it was me. I remember telling that story so many times because it was eye contact from
From up here?
So,
Like here?
yeah. It was stories, like a couple of stories higher. So
Does he know the story?
I believe he
I
does.
don't think so, but
All
it
right,
sounds
so-
like it should be good.
So when Lieutenant Kelly transferred to Rescue 4, he was in the
My
squad a
feelings
couple of
really
years.
hurt, first of all.
And
But
then,
go
yeah,
ahead.
so when we were like distraught when he left, right? But we understood he was going to Big Blue. He was a rescue guy. We understood it. But he didn't realize that we had Jerry Murphy, which was Hangstrom, right? So, of course, getting out to Long Island, any job going towards the east end of Queens, most of the time, Rescue 4 and us, we would converge on. They would take Queens Boulevard to the LIE or the Grand Central, and we would jump right on the LIE because we were right there. And the LIE, even back then, was just packed all the time, right? So we were getting on the highway, and there's a couple of spots on the highway where you can get off on the service road. You can come up, right? There's 3 lanes, 6 lanes. It's like this, right? So they came around from Queens Boulevard, and they were going up the ramp to get onto the LIE. And Murph saw that it was packed. I don't know, I mean, he's always packed, but he did some concoction maneuver and he came down low.
Get off at Woodhaven, jump around, come up.
He did some crazy thing. So now we're on the service road and there's never any traffic really over there. But the LIE is up high. Like it's up, like, I don't know, what's it, 30 feet?
40 feet, yeah.
40 feet, right?
Now I remember.
So I got my arm, I'm behind Murph. And we're going out east. And I look up on the LIE. I see lights. I look up and he looks down at me. And it was just kind of pretty, soon after he retired, pretty close. And he looked at me and he was just like, like from Seinfeld. He was like, Newman, and then we kept calling him that for a while because we were always trying to beat them in. They were always trying to beat us in. It was, whoever got
there. Newman?
Yeah. Hello. Thank you. So yeah, that was I remember us talking about that. Like when he looked down at me and he was just because listen, in the end, if there's work to be done, whoever gets there first generally will get the more share of it, So whatever.
We renamed Jerry, not Hagstrom's. We called him Magellan.
Oh, that's
because he knew the whole damn city.
He knew the whole. He would go anywhere. Right.
Anyway.
Incredible.
Jerry, no, I got it. All right.
And he did.
Yeah.
We would never waste any time.
No.
Like other chauffeurs, we'd look at the map, right? See which way we were going to go, or they would get started, and then we would have the maps in the back.
It wouldn't be like you missed the first 2 job, like right down the block from the firehouse. I Cook did that time, is it? 292 be the
it's
same.
out the window. It's out the window over here. Why you go here?
What?
No, but I
go
hope
the other way.
God bless him. I love that guy. But
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of quick stories tonight.
Yeah.
But let's get into Lieutenant Kelly's career. Where is my? Hold on a minute.
Oh my God, that's so funny. My face hurts already.
Hold on a minute.
My face. I can't feel my
there it
face.
is. All right. Here we go. All right, TK. So before we get started, we want to know what made you get into the fire service? Any family on? Any friends on?
Yeah, that's a great story. I could eat up an hour on that one.
All right.
So out on Suffolk County where I grew up, I had my best friend out here. His dad was a chauffeur in Rescue 4. So he says to me, and we're 15 years old, do you want to come in and ride with my dad? And I had no idea what that meant. So I was like, yeah, sure. So we went in and did a night tour in Rescue 4. And it was incredible. We went to multiple fires. There were jumpers. People threw a mattress out, and the guy threw his whole family out and jumped. It was like, holy crap. I mean, I'm 15 years old. It was just like insane. And then I go back home and I'm like, they pay guys to do this? This is the best show on earth. So I kind of made it my mission to get on the job. And I was looking all over the place. And then once I was on the job, I always had it that I wanted to go to Rescue 4 in some capacity.
I never knew that story.
Wow. I did it. And the lieutenant that was working that night had the jumpers, John Dillon.
Oh my God.
I called him up when I was one of the first night tours there. And I just said, hey, John, do you know who this is? And he goes, I know who it is. He had an incredible dungaree jacket that had adult beverages that were always available. And I said, I've tossed the office. I can't find it. Where is it? It's in my trunk, and you can't have it.
Nice.
But it was really quite an honor for me to make it all the way back. And
so you weren't even a volley at this time.
I was going to ask you, were you a volley yet?
I was a pre-volley fireman, and then I was like, this guy was a friend of mine, and then I did go into the volleys. And
so you were a volley before you got on the job?
Yes, and of course you have to hide it, And right. I did have a party at my house, and I invited all the guys from 38 Truck there, and lo and behold, that silly radio went off when they were all there, and they looked at me and they go, "You're a volley," and I kept it from them for years, and they were just like, "That makes perfect sense now,"
So Lou, that lieutenant, that's the Duke, right?
That is the Duke,
right? So I have posted so many pictures of him. Guys have sent me his helmet. Was like this little
a piece of roofing shingle with a floor on it.
But I used to see his helmet on it. I mean, he had no visors, right? It was just
nothing.
Like this little coops.
It looked like a yarmulke, right?
It was incredible.
Put a pizza box on a campfire and put it on your head. That's just what it looked like.
It was like, and every picture, he's like talking to the chief, and the chief is just listening.
It's like I hate that helmet, right?
Yeah. Oh well, he was thinking that, but he didn't.
Now, is that the Duke that they talk about in Brooklyn? Because they talk about a guy, the Duke in Brooklyn.
No, that was different. That's different. That's a guy from 111, I believe.
Bronx guy is a fireman,
Well, it had to be during the 70s, a Bronx guy, because he was, when you went there, it was probably like 75,
maybe.
right?
I don't know.
Yeah, so this would have been the late 70s as a lieutenant in 4.
Wow.
Maybe.
Amazing.
Yeah, Jack Kelly was on there. He's in, saw him, just recently. So there was... Definitely was an incredible to go complete circle to.
Yeah, that is complete circle right there, man.
Now I'm in my late 40s, getting back to Rescue 4, and just a lot of folks didn't even realize that I always had that on my radar.
I didn't know that story.
Yeah,
I would have felt so bad when you left 288.
I know. I would have been. I would have understood.
You guys were so distraught. You threw my stuff out the window.
He lit on fire.
I hope he probably did.
Did the Duke's son get on the job?
I don't know. Well, no, his one son is a Suffolk police officer.
Oh,
and because I went to his wake and all, and he came around 9/11. He was an incredible calming force with us.
Is he still alive? T?
No, he passed. Yeah, but I don't know where the hell that damn helmet is, and the dungaree jacket. I think they went with them. So I'd have to get a show.
Wow, that's amazing.
The jacket back. But,
do you have any other family on the job? I
don't know.
No, you.
Me. My middle son is he's on the job in Greenwich.
Right.
So it's pretty wild. He loves it a lot, and I brought both my sons in to ride at Rescue 4, and Milner could back this up. On his last day tour, on the job, he went out. We convinced Mike to go out front to take a picture, and my boys bucketed him.
And nice.
That's classic. Nice guy.
He didn't think it was that funny, but my sons were probably 13 and maybe 15 then, or maybe a little younger. But
what's going on, Milner? You don't like the water?
They got him good too. It was really.
He had the perm back then. Probably he didn't want to. He didn't want to mess up the locks.
He had the soul glow.
I said we probably could have broke his knees.
I thought I had that one. Damn
so you took the test that got held up with the women, right? The 70-something test. That was a difficult test.
Yeah, it was really wacky. Yeah. Physical was even more.
That's what I'm talking about. The 2-minute
hold. The arm hang, the mile run, the mail sack up the stairs, the ledge walk.
The ledge walk.
The 8-foot wall was really man. They ought to bring that sucker back. That eliminated a lot of phonies.
Yeah.
Imagine jumping over that now.
Yes, I could actually.
I can imagine it. I won't be able to do it.
No, but I would.
Oh my goodness!
Are you keeping yourself in shape these days, other than golf? What are you doing?
I got hooked on the Peloton thing, and
good.
Yeah, so
You wearing spandex?
Well, I think so. I mean, it's all good until it's not good.
This is true.
He's got the Rescue 4 spandex with the leg warmers, the blue leg warmers, right?
Listen,
Like Flash Dance.
Yeah.
You
didn't send us that picture.
That's his dance music.
All right, let's throw a picture of his Probie class because he was in there with a famous guy.
There we go.
They're all famous.
Who was in there besides you there? I see you there.
Oh, he's in the middle, in the lower middle, and then the guy who's at the bottom with his thumb up in the air.
That guy. I've never seen him before.
That's the Boosh.
Yeah.
Steve Buscemi.
If only we can get him on.
Tell a story about what you said in the pre-show.
Yeah, so we, we're sitting there just trying to get to know each other. This was my squad, and I don't know whether it's graduation or whatever the hell's going on, but early on in Probie school, Steve confides in us and says, I don't even want to be a fireman. I just need a paycheck. I want to be an actor. And when all of a sudden, the pancakes stop in midair and they're just like, what did you just say? Dude, do not tell another soul. They're going to murder you. They'll drown you. What do you mean you're a fireman? So, but it turns out we got another photograph of him. We're utilizing him as a battering ram on a door, and it's very funny. We're just picking him up. So he didn't change much, He's a great guy then. And, a lot
for a guy who didn't want to be a fireman, he stayed
right?
10 years, 55, right?
Yes, he did.
He did 10 years or whatever he did. So
it was so terrible. He stayed 10 years.
And he still comes back all the time over there.
Yeah, it's a good guy. Absolutely.
Yeah. The job grew on him. It grew on him.
It did grow on him.
Why not? Right?
How can it not?
Exactly.
Who else was in that picture? Anybody else that went on to be a chief or anything? Or?
Yeah, Dennis Devlin's in there. There's Billy Album. There's some of these guys. It's funny how you just keep crossing. So the other guy, John Raw, the older guy with the mustache in the middle, I think he had 4 kids.
He went up to the Bronx.
I got held up because I wasn't even 21 yet. So I would have had to wait for this class anyway. And matter of fact, out of the 100, I think 60 of us just turned 21.
Oh, wow.
And, they tried to do to the rear march with us. I think the guy swallowed his tongue at Probie school and almost died. None of us were in the military. We didn't even know what dress right dress was. They gave up. So it was during the winter. I shoveled more snow with those banjos. That's all they did with it. Go outside and shovel, So it was.
John Rowe, he went up to the Green Berets, right? In the Bronx.
17?
Didn't Rowe go up to the Bronx to an engine?
Yes, he did. Yeah, a lot of us were. There was a year delay, in our class. So we just kind of went where overtime was running. So they just kind of broke us up. But yeah, we were in a tiny, tiny locker room, and it was really quite funny. Us 100 guys, and it was probably a 20 by 20 space. I think the custodian uses it in Building 9, toilet paper storage or something. It was quite unique. But like I said, we were still wearing the yellow slickers. The raincoats and the civil defense yellow helmets.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was just. I think they lent us old boots. That was the only thing we had that looked like firemen.
Wow, that's awesome.
So did you have a hook? How did everything work out?
I thought I had a hook. I was supposed to go to Queens, a family friend, and all of a sudden it comes up 88, and I'm like, where the hell is 88? I was a Long Island boy, and so they're just like, oh, you're going to love this place, and I'm like, wow. And then, of course, you go there and
it's a museum.
It's incredible. It's on the National Archive of Historical.
Did you ever work there?
Yeah.
Cool. You walk in there, it's a museum. I worked there 2 times. You walk in there, you don't want to touch anything.
You wipe your feet before you come in. It's incredible.
I've heard you talk about it in the past.
It's
like all the brass is polished.
This picture here, as the Bronx brickyards, it was all these vacant buildings. It's a great company, and when you look at a map of the Bronx, it's almost dead center. So I don't know. They had some hooks in the communications office. We were we used to have that old loose leaf book on multiple alarms, and you could tell when they transmitted. if there was anything that was a third alarm in the Bronx, just about, we were on it. I don't know who we paid off, but it was great as a young fireman in an engine. We were going to everything, you know.
What was it like looking at those buildings coming from Long Island? Like when you first went into that area, were you just like
I just was, yeah, it was blocks of them. This is probably down by 45 Engine and Van Nuys and just by the Cross Bronx. And then they would burn. And then, you know, all the stairs were all, they already gutted them for whatever scrap, the holes in the floor. It was just like incredible. And then they would take the fire escapes out just to reduce the number of people. And then you'd be in there and folks would be like, I'm in here, I'm back. You're like, these things, they were never unoccupied. You know, there was always, you know, taking out the cinder block, just the Bronx training towers, you know, they were just a great opportunity to go to a lot of fires and really get good engine work. I mean, the Clorox bucket with the rope in it was an invaluable tool of going up to an upper floor and dropping that sucker out and getting the line upstairs really fast. You know, it worked out
when
well.
The stairs are all burnt out.
Pretty much. And then whoever got up there first, you know, it's like you got to be agile, you know, and then the 4.5s were just coming out. So wearing a mask, they were like, it was funny. There was a lieutenant's test coming up. We were always being asked, you know, what did they go over? What did they emphasize? What, you know, the mask policy was coming out, and it was, the back step wasn't taboo just yet. And we were still doing interchange when I got there, but they would lie about how many runs you had, allegedly, so we wouldn't have to interchange.
Yeah, right.
If they asked how many jobs you went to, the bosses would say 2. Meanwhile, they were at 4 of them with us, you know, and it was like, so.
Do you remember your first job, T?
I do, actually. And it was pretty funny because it was on the north side of the Cross Bronx Expressway, and I was a volley. So it was a vacant row of stores. We were second to engine, second alarm on arrival. And they told me to jump up on the deck gun because it was that volume of fire. And the particular chauffeur, he was priming the pump. He couldn't get water. And I'm up there roasting away, and I could see the cover, the hosebed cover, is starting to stretch and melt. I'm melting up there, and I can see the lenses on the lights are starting to get a little weepy. And they're like, hold on, we got to move the rig. So all I kept saying to myself, so this is how the big boys do it, huh?
They melt the probe.
Sheepishly climb down and just say, what else can we do? And they're like, just help stretch the line, you know. But I do remember that with so it's with great humility, you say, oh, even the big guys make mistakes, you know. So
How long were you there before you got your first job?
I stayed there 3 years, and I had an opportunity to go to the truck. Anytime there was a detail, I would go to the truck, and I just loved it. I mean, just working in the truck is just opportunity to just do everything, every position, every building. It just, you know, with our books and what to do on what type building, it's just, it doesn't get boring. And I just enjoyed, we were a rear mount company in 38. And, you know, it was great. A lot of times they'd transmit a greater alarm because it was going badly, and they'd be calling tower ladders, and they'd be like, 38, you guys could take up, because it was going to be an all-nighter, you know. So it was kind of like, did we do something wrong? And they're like, nah, we don't need you. So it was.
How was their response area compared to the engine? Like, you run into a lot more engines, right? Would the truck go out on runs without the engine?
The truck, yeah, it's funny. We did have different boxes and stuff, you know, where the truck would go. But the engines was pretty good. You know, the 18th Battalion, and then they brought 48 and 56 in with us. So, you know, if we went to the West, we ran in with 75 and 33 and 48, and when they moved 56 truck up. But it was great. You know, a lot of row frames, as we nicknamed them, row flames. I just love those suckers.
Those are the best.
Top floor fires.
Oh, boy.
Type. I nicknamed them sneaker fires because you were just running around with, get the line over here, get the line. We would bring 2 hooks because the trucks would just, they were stretched to the limit of just trying to pull ceilings. And so you just did a truck work as an engine man, and it was great.
How close are they to Arthur Avenue? They're close to Arthur Avenue.
They are. That's their first due. So we were on between 183rd, 184th.
Every time I go there, I see that.
Yeah, great shopping.
Yeah, that's the best part. You got the work, and you have the food.
Yes, yeah, and it was just it was fantastic. And all the holidays there. It's just it was good. It was Italian neighborhood, and I looked like I had some Italian blood in me, and to be like, you look like a nice boy. What's your name? And I said, I'm going to ruin your day. Timothy Kelly.
Fucking Timothy Kelly. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah. I wish I had some music for that.
Yeah, it was a great hub to be. First due at the zoo, and Fordham University was right there. So it was pretty diverse neighborhood of buildings. I mean, we had everything. Probably the only thing we didn't have was subways. But everything was elevated.
Nice.
And,
who wants those anyway?
Who was some of the guys you remember that stick out to you that were?
In the engine, Tough Timmy.
Somebody just says.
There you go.
Yeah, I saw that pop up, and it was so funny. He busted my horns. He kept asking me. He asked me once, get me the serial number off the tires. So I'm like, serial number? What the hell? They got serial numbers? Yeah, I need the serial numbers. So I'm crawling under the rig. So I wrote them down because I figured they're not going to change them very often. So about 4 or 5 months later, it must have been his only, thing that he had all the time. He says, give me the serial numbers off the tire. So I went to my locker and I got the numbers. And he said, you got them that fast? I said, I wrote them down the first time you got them. So he didn't like that answer. But then,
did you say Newman?
Oh, damn it.
So we're going on a family vacation, my wife and I, and she brought in cookies, and she gave some to Tough Timmy. And if I would have known that, I would have had her come the first day to work with me, because then after that, I couldn't do any wrong with him. So
cookies was the way to Tough Timmy's heart.
He wasn't that tough,
He was the cookie monster deep down.
It was pretty funny.
He was in the engine?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he was the engine boss. I mean, he was probably in his 50s, still on the hockey team.
Wow.
I mean, he got in a fist fight at a job once. I think he was acting battalion, and
nice.
And the deputy comes in, and they're like, "Do you want to, bring him up on charges?" And he goes, "No, the guy shows great spirit." He appreciated getting punched in the face, I guess.
You don't get the nickname Tough Timmy for nothing.
He definitely did not. He earned it, and he was a tough old Irish boss.
And who was the captain in the truck at that time? You remember?
There was several that came through. Joe Moravec was when I went across the floor, and then we had a few others. Tom Cherry was there. Great role models. One of the lieutenants in 88 was Kevin Burns. It's like when you get promoted, or even your whole shtick as a fireman, you just you steal from, some other guy's acts, and you're like, I like what he does. I like, Kevin was, if he knew Tough Timmy was coming in, he'd come downstairs, he'd take his shirt off, and he says, come on, let's get a card game going. Let's get this going. And he'd like shuffle papers all over the desk like he didn't do anything all day. And we'd make it look like we were playing cards all day.
Just to aggravate him.
I go, this is a lieutenant busting the captain's horns. I go, you just can't make this up. But, great boss, Kevin Burns was. That was Frank Montagna. He was a chief at the Rock. And so, he was a lieutenant there. He came out of the Upper East Side, 13 truck. So, he went on to bigger and better things, but, a lot of good guys running in with 27 truck. 58. I know you had McCluskey on some episodes ago. And
that's a big dude.
Oh man, he is, the guy eats glass for, if there's nothing else.
It's a sandhog, right? Wasn't he a sandhog?
Yeah. And Devlin was, a whole, they 45 and 58. They had a few of them. Wow. So yeah, it was
you want
great
that guy backing you up for sure.
And being 21 years old, I work with Leo Ficassi was a World War II vet. Was in the Patton. He was served in North Africa and liberating Italy. Marino was a Korea War vet. One guy was, World War II, Iwo Jima, several Vietnam vets, and they took great liberties of busting my horns. Like, what did you do? And I said, well, you guys were all doing that. I was learning how to ride a bicycle. Thank you for your service. I just, there was nothing going on. I was a punk, and
what we say all the time, those guys, Coop says it all the time. Like those guys, when you work with those guys, if those guys were in those situations, there ain't nothing that they're going to see here that's really going to make them, you just learn to be calm, right? You learn to be, to handle, any situation that's coming at you, you learn to handle it because you're dealing with those types of guys all the time.
Yeah. I mean, this one guy in the truck, Jimmy Marino, I happened to look down at the year he got assigned to 38, and it was the year I was born. And his uniform had absolutely nothing on it. And I'm like, Jim, every Christmas I can remember, you've been bringing your sorry butt into this firehouse. And he goes, you're a punk, Kelly. But the guy was great. He was always the irons man.
You're a punk, Kelly.
He just was a great guy to learn under, and they all were. They really, really set the pace for, how you behave. But I just always admired the fact that, he'd make a grab and just no big deal. Like
humble, right? Yeah.
And he didn't need the write-up. He didn't need anything. And he'd just be like, just quietly go about his job. So I like that act. And I just try to emulate a lot of those guys.
Well, you definitely did.
You were living a life there, 21 years old in a busy company, the FDNY.
Oh, it was great. It really was. I had a grand time. I really did.
That's a great house to go to right out of the block.
Yes. And how'd I get it? I think Tough Timmy just, he picked three of us. One guy was a contract. Me and another guy were just I think we were next to each other on the order.
So, we know how you got it.
I should have sent my wife. Like I said, I would have had your time.
Speaking of your wife, how long were you there before were you with her when you went there?
Yep. And then I got married, went across the floor and in the same month. And it was so nice. They detailed me back to the engine for 30 days because of my vacancy. So I had a red shield working in 88. So
no way.
Yeah. So it was, but it was all good. I'm married 40 years this year. So
wow.
So I'd say it worked out.
I'd say so.
All right.
Yep.
I agree.
Any particular jobs that stand out to you while you were in the truck?
Not really up there. There was jobs, but I mean, 38 was the Happy Land Social Club. I wasn't working, but I know the importance of BI because that was in our BI district, and the captain then was Walter Brett, and it was interesting. They weren't even back from the job yet, and two guys came in suits and pulled the folder before the relocates were in there, and they went up to the office and helped themselves to the BI folder. And thankfully he had well documented attempts to get in there. So that was, he did an outstanding job of, doing the right thing by the fire department and the city, that we were, so they then created that task force after that, the social club task force. And but no, it was just, we were very familiar with the place and just those type things. And
Paulie Shulman had the pipe at that job, right?
He did.
Yeah.
Where was he working?
Yeah, 45.
45?
Would have been right. Yeah, they would literally almost could see it. So it's right on Southern Boulevard. We were second due there. But I just, the incredible number of people killed was just
87, right? 87 people perished, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So it was it's all, you're going along having a great time, and then you just seeing the impact that had on the guys that worked it. I was kind of glad I wasn't there, because it was like one of these things. Well, who's got that many body bags? And they're like, the Port Authority does. So unfortunately, we became skilled in large body counts, and they were like, oh, so it was an incredible an event.
I remember that.
It wasn't working, but going through it and just seeing it, I was kind of glad I wasn't.
You guys probably went back there and looked at the building after that, right?
We absolutely did, and it's actually kind of good therapy for the folks that were there, the firefighters, for us and the guys, and then getting them to retell their story to us, and just you're just silent, and it actually is probably good for them that they just kind of describe what they went through.
Hey, Ruffy, we just had somebody on that we were talking about how great the job is and the laughs and everything, but the job, it could turn on a dime and be serious as a heart attack in a second and humble you in a second. Who was that we had on that was saying that, Ruffy?
I mean, a lot of people say that. I mean, everybody knows that.
Right, but somebody just, they brought up a good point. I forget what it was, but they were saying the same exact thing. How I can't remember.
It was very recently, though. I do remember that.
Yeah,
very recently.
You have a lot of fun in the firehouse, but you can humble you.
Oh, that was the old school tip, wasn't that the old school tip? I don't remember.
Well, you ought to make it one.
Hell yeah.
There we go.
Gonzo, what's that? Somebody asked a question in there.
Oh, let me go back over there. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry it takes 20 years to ask, but was Kelly in Brothers in Battle? Were you in Brothers in Battle?
It was going on while I was up there. So Brian Hickey was filming, while he was in 38 and then in Rescue 4. So like when you guys were asking, do you have any pictures? That's one of the things. Like if somebody broke out a camera, I went the other way, So it was funny when you see things like that going on. So I was making faces in the background to the guys they were filming and stuff. And but
I remember when that came out. I was in Probie school, 93. When that came out, I could not get enough of that film.
You ain't heavy, he's my brother.
I could not get enough of that.
Incredible. I mean, it really is.
Just the information he gave out too, like in each borough, right? I mean, I was in Probie school. They showed that in Probie school, if I remember right.
It's really is timeless. It's so well done, and it's.
I never even realized it was him, like until many years later. Many years later.
Yeah.
Get back to it. Quickies in that.
There's a lot of good ones in there.
Yeah, man. Covered with all the ash. Remember, he was in a collapse.
He was at the collapse.
He covered all the dust. Be quick.
He got the huge boner for that one.
He did. All right, here's
that one.
Here's the question I've been meaning to ask you. So, at what point did you decide to go to the rescue? And number two, the follow-up question is, if you wanted to do the Rescue 4 thing, why did you go to Rescue 1 as a fireman and not 4?
Good question.
Yeah, it is a good question. So, going to Rescue 1 is just an incredible company. My wisecrack answer when you go there and you talk to folks from other rescues, you go, there's other rescues? So to me, there's only the one. Working in Manhattan is, I'm so glad. So why didn't I go to, why didn't you go to 3 or why didn't you go here?
Right.
I just want to go to a place that was so different from what I was doing. And Midtown Manhattan was completely different. And I'm just glad I went there. Fantastic company, great reputation. Really got, I had 11 years on the job. It just, at that point, I was comfortable in the truck. And then I'm like, all right, what more can I do? And when you going into SOC and you got 30 people of like-minded that just want to do more, it just makes it a great job where everybody is just trying, what more can I do for my company? What more can I do for the new guy? What more can I? and just being the best of your game at all times. So I really got it in one. And yeah, good God. Yeah. So the giant is Ray Phillips from Rescue 3, you know, so.
Right.
So that's why Angelini's climbing up on the bumper, because
who's the other guy? Who's the blonde head guy?
Neil Fredrickson. So he was in my Probie class as well, different squad, but he just retired not too long ago.
Oh wow!
You know? So
and
then
that's Mojica, right?
Father Baldwin, you know, he's
Father Baldwin. Yeah,
Father Baldwin. That's funny.
So what was the process like getting there? Who was the captain?
It was impossible. You know, because the captain he didn't care for Bronx firefighters at all.
Who was the captain then?
Brian O'Flaherty.
Okay.
So it was, you know, many cheesecakes and, you know, bakery products. And so he had been elected the captain's rep to the union, and I knew he'd be taking a leave of the company. So I said, Cap, I've been buttering you up for 2 years. You got to bring me over, you know? So it was his parting.
Buttering you up.
He brought me over and left, you know, and they're like, great. So,
you know what you were missing? You should have brought your wife's cookies. If they worked on Tim.
Well, come out to the garage bar. We'll
how was, you remember when you first met Hankel?
Yeah, it was in one, you know, and yeah, it was good. You know, John Moran was there, Kevin Shea. So I went like 2 weeks after Kevin's
rescue,
you know, the rope rescue. And so the media frenzy was, you know, incredible, which was even better because then I'd see them show up and I'd go back in the kitchen, you know, and go do something, you know. But, you know, it's quite a place that how many visitors you get. And if you're not into that, entertaining them, being respectful of them, you know, just showing them the rig and just it's almost nonstop. You know, I can only imagine after 9/11 what those guys were probably they should have just moved to a different address. We've moved.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I
mean, look at what it was like where we were, it was crazy. So I can't imagine, like you said, I can't imagine what it was like over. It was, I worked there quite a few times, and it was backing in. It was just like people waiting outside all the time to.
Yeah, we would fake runs if we saw like too many buffs out.
Yeah, take a picture or
like, radios and like, what's going on? Like, just. You know,
I always see those things on social media. Yeah, I went to New York. I knocked on the door. I mean, you know, they were.
We saw you coming. Yeah, we hid.
Dude. To go there and have that happen. You know, this isn't a T-shirt store, right? I mean, this is a freaking firehouse. You know what I mean? So I get it both ways, but you know.
Yeah,
I gotta say though, a couple of times I did work in Rescue One. Like you said though, there is something. It's just like a feeling, like you're driving through Times Square in the back of Rescue One's rig. It's like there's nothing else comparable. There's nothing like it, right? Like
you're photographed a million times, and this was before cell phones. Now,
right? Could you imagine now?
Well, it just, you know, it's really pretty funny, you know, when you get down to it, you know.
Where are you on the wall? What did Hosh make you?
Well, I don't know. What do you think? You know, which
Had
one?
to be ropes.
No, I'm the guy with the one-wheeled wheelbarrow garden cart, you know, because I used to do carpentry. So every night I'd have to take all my tools out of my car, and then so I had this two-wheeled garden cart, and so they, being from the Bronx, they thought it was great if they took the wheels off and left it on cinder blocks, you know. So they did.
Nice. That's freaking
great. We got a sense of humor in the big city rescue.
They did. And then now you have to go, you know, after a night tour, I have to go find the wheels. You know.
Who was the captain that came in after O'Flaherty?
Oh, crap. Wow, you got a picture of it, you know.
God,
well, there I am.
Are you on in this one? Because there's a couple of them. I try to figure.
I think
it's kind of hard to make.
No, I see the wheelbarrow on the Bambi and the Lion King. I see the wheelbarrow.
The rear of the rig, right? Is that what I'm looking at? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Hank is cleaning the windows or something somewhere, right?
Yeah, he's on the top.
That's still there. Yeah, they should actually make up a thing with you know, who it is and why they're depicted like that. You know, it's
Hank was always clean, and he had the windows.
That was a snapshot in time, right?
Yeah,
there.
Hazel. Yeah, Hank was definitely a clean person there. You know,
you need one of those guys in the firehouse.
Oh God, yeah. No, I'm glad to see that still kicking.
That's the other one.
Yeah, so that would be me with the it looks like a wheelbarrow, but it's
Yeah,
the other
I see
side.
it.
oh, the
That's
other
right.
wheel, you know.
You were the rope guy. I would have thought you would have been on the rope.
Nah, not then. But then I learned, and that was a great opportunity to.
You guys got taught by Rocco, right? Actually,
We did, and then I just, you know, it's one of these things, Kev, when they put it on the rig, and as they used to call them, our funny colored ropes. They had some other expressions for them, but you know, we were the first company with it. And then when you really get down to it, you know, like a scaffolding incident was a big deal. Now it's routine. You know, it's really you know, you guys know the way of the rope, and it's really, it's no big deal at all. And once you know the technique, and you welcome it, but there was a lot of opportunities to use it. So I went to work for them. So I wanted to know it really well, and then share that at the Rock, you know, and that's.
What was it like trying to convince the Chiefs to put you guys up on rope and you know?
Yeah, they would rather like a scaffolding incident. They're like, yeah, we'll take the window. And I used to say, Chief, your pension is secure. You're okay. We know what we're doing.
Right.
That's not bad. I like that one.
Do you guys remember the first time you actually used it at a?
I remember me personally. We had a woman. Con Ed was working on a manhole, and you know how they always put the metal 3-sided barrier around it. Well, she walked right into the manhole, and you know, she's down about 15 feet, and there I am. We're setting up a tripod, and she's hurt, and I could remember my hand shaking so much that the double pulley was rattling. And,
that's very hard.
I put on the ground, and I looked at this other guy, and he goes, "Take it easy." And I said, "Take it easy. This is just a real deal, guy." Said, take it. And he could actually hear the plates, you know, clicking. So I said, "You got to get your confidence up, you know." So
no doubt, man. When you're the guy. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, when you're the guy,
you know what you're doing.
It's easy to laugh about it here.
I'm like, yeah,
Take it easy.
When you haven't done, take it easy.
It gets a lot of covering bosses, and they'd be like, guys, I don't know anything about that. So, you know, they would defer to, and then if you were the rope guy, even the senior guys would be like, he's got it, you know, and then before you know it, it kind of became with our riding positions, you know, who would do rigging, who would be entry, you know, so it became ingrained into our assignment. If in the event we got a high angle job.
Right.
You
were taught in what year? How long did it take to get Rescue One, you know, wound up and in service?
So I went there in 91. It probably was, you know, we went online pretty quick with it. And, you know, Chief Downey was in SOC, and then, you know, some other chiefs that were there, and they quickly realized, you know, this was all born out of the water tunnel incident up in the Bronx. The young guys were in there, and, you know, they had the old rogeless systems, and they realized we didn't have capability beyond a couple of 100 feet. And so they all realized this is something that all the rescues need to get. So then it was get them back, train the other rescues. And then I saw it as an opportunity, and I asked to go work for them. And, you know, they just wanted that New York, the swagger and the stories to go with it. But
and the hair.
Be really good at it, you know? So, yeah. So I liked it. It was a great opportunity to, you know, where you could create monsters like you guys, you know, where.
Oh, yeah.
So
running around.
You were trained by Rocco, and then did Rocco train the other rescues, or did Rescue One start training?
They each one had like 5-6 guys from each of the rescues. They did like a 2-week class at the Rock, and then we were there also as like basically train the trainers, where we were learning to be instructors.
Yeah.
And then once you know, we were very confident with it. And then, you know, Kevin Shea worked for him, Eddie Morrow, and myself worked for Rocco. And we basically, you know, we just gave it to all of us, SOC and then the squads. It was a great opportunity to say, listen, we're all going on.
I remember that.
Right. That's when it became in-house.
Yep.
Right.
How did you do with the scuba?
Great. I loved it. I loved it. You know, it's funny. So that was the other thing, is they wanted you to be open water prior to going to rescue. And I kind of refused. I said, listen, I'm not going to take a class. I'm doing this for you. So eventually I did take it, because you needed something to knock out your competition. But you know, you dive a few times, and you know, you guys trained as tenders, or if you're not divers, and it was always funny. You could, whenever the diver found the victim, you could hear them scream, you know, and you're like, they got him, you know.
If you were listening too, right? Which
like, we hear it right through the earphones.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty scary coming upon
It's a scary thing in the dark, right? In the water, you know, 20 feet down. Screw that shit.
We went out at Flight 800 to help support that out there. You know, I was not the strongest diver. Actually, I was partnered, which is funny, you brought his picture up, Neil Fredrickson, and he was the better diver than I was. So we were partnered up, and I would basically be the drop. I think I only dove once on that. And Neil was, so I would be tethering him at that depth. And we didn't get to do a lot, but we were, you know, FDNY was out there on the cane, you know, just trying to help out with that.
I mean, if you think about Rescue One, all of the rescues that they've done in the river, it's crazy, man. Between Hosh and even just the ones that the helicopter just recently,
absolutely.
Even though the people, you know, I mean, just to even get in there and do what those guys did it's incredible, man.
Yes,
it's incredible.
And, you know, it's yes, there's no doubt, and to be able to turn out and put that on.
Oh my God.
Responding.
I don't even know what the hell those guys did all 24, right? Guys think, oh yeah, it's just, you know, think about if you were just sitting home, you know, doing calisthenics and you had to go run and do that. But, you know, go home and, you know, run. Just, you could have just had a fire, you know what I mean? And now 2 minutes later, you got to be in this, you know, 20 feet, 10 feet down under a dock with, you know, shopping carts and, you know,
fishing
cars
line
everywhere. Oh my God, get the hell out of here. God bless you guys.
Yeah.
It
was unique. It definitely, you know, and then I remember once I went as diver one and off the west side, and one of my fins came off, and the boss, I radioed comms. I said, you know, I lost a fin. He's like, good, keep going. You know, it was Tony Errico. He was like, you know, and I'm like, well, I only have one. So I was like, you know what? I let the air out of my BC as much, and I basically clawed myself along the bottom and figured, all right, I'll just use my arms. He didn't want to hear, we'll get you another one, you know, because they're like, you know, ESU's here and they're going to put a diver in. They're like, I'm not coming up unless I get this guy, you know.
He probably said to you,
who would have bought Crucia? Was Crucia there?
Yeah. Well, he was at the Rock then, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. And Baron was Baron.
I didn't get to work with him. He did a couple of tours here and there, but you know,
he's a great guy, man. I love that guy.
Great guy.
Love that guy.
Great stories.
He is so excited. He came on. He was just his son was so happy.
One more.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was Baron. Baron was the other one. Yeah.
Who else was there? One of the bosses were there when you were there.
So in my time there, we went through 6 captains. So it was kind of, and you know, in 7 years. So it was definitely a great example of what a good company is, because we didn't need the captains. We were all just kind of going along, but it always caused, you know, the senior guys would be like, you're doing this or that. And, you know, I was rather young and I enjoyed rubbing somebody the wrong way as a side hobby, you know, and
nice.
You could see you could get them. You're like, oh boy, this is great, you know, but yeah, so we had Charlie Casper was there.
He was the captain of Rescue One.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No
So
shit.
When the first Trade Center bombing, he was the captain, and Kevin was in the hospital. And it's funny, he comes up to the firehouse, you know, to pick us up. You know, we're back in quarters, and he says, we're going to go see Kevin. And it's funny, like I felt like it was you know, National Lampoon's Vacation. He had like a station wagon. I'm like, people still have station wagons? You know?
Wagon Queen family truckster.
The family truckster.
So he
would have paneling on it.
He drives to the corner, hits the brakes, and he's like, go out and get 2 6-packs because, like, all right, this is we're definitely going to do
All right, Cap.
De-stressing, on the way to downtown Beekman, and he wanted to hear.
I didn't know he was the captain.
Yeah, yeah. So it was, and it was great because we that's all we wanted to make sure that Kevin was going to be okay. They whisked him away from us, and I'm like, he fell really far.
Yeah. When he was on the show, when he told us about that, I could not believe how far that was, man. That's incredible.
God, it's easily 60 to 70 feet.
It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, he broke everything. I mean,
and then Geidel's story, like him going there and getting them, is even that's even more crazy too. That's crazy stuff.
So yes, and it looked like a giant barbecue pit, and it was just but yeah, it was really quite a day,
Casper. So when did you start studying? Let's get to that. When did
you
start?
I have a question before you
great.
study. I got one more question.
So,
before you start, how long were you there before you felt like you were comfortable with what was on that rig?
I would say probably about 18 months before you get that swagger, where you could just, you get a covering boss and he might be not even a sock guy. And they just kind of look at you like, if we get this, and you're like, don't worry, boss, we got this.
I got you.
And, where you're not that I've seen everything and been there, but, you've got brownstones, subcellars.
Love those.
Subcellars.
Not a big fan.
Which like, what the hell,
Did you like subcellars, Lou?
I had a few experiences. None of them good.
No, I know. Ooh.
Yeah,
guys make fun of me that I don't like subcellars. Meanwhile,
when he hears subcellars, he hears this.
Yeah, so
that's when subcellars come in. That's what he starts playing.
It's very lonely down there.
It's very lonely because it's only you most of the time. It's you and you and you.
Yeah.
The three of you.
It's rattling again. I don't hear anything other than crackling. Mr. Wizard, Tim doesn't want to do this anymore.
Mr. Wizard. All right, now we can talk about studies.
I was studying while I was in the Bronx, and it was really funny. Like when you're in a company like this, and we were still doing the boxes, the 2 and 2 on a pull boxes, and I just was, I guess, a little bit nerdy up in the office. And I look and I say, we respond on at least 40 to 45 boxes before we have to get off the rig. It was just maddening, the number of false alarms. And I just felt like I can't keep doing this. This is not what I see as, serving people. And this is just, they're playing with us. So I got my interest in going. And of course, you got to keep that on wraps because once they find out, they throw your stuff out the window. It's but so then I got to Rescue 1 and I said, well, I'm not leaving here. So I stopped studying. So I really was quite happy there, just because the number of just the action and the variety of stuff, and working with folks, and they're coming and going, and it was really. So I ended up at the bottom of the list, and I was fortunate I got promoted, and after I got promoted in November, it was 17 years to the day that I got appointed.
Wow.
And they're like, where the hell have you been? I said, in the kitchen, having too much fun. And so I was kind of old for my lieutenant's class. And, and then it was March. I was back in SOC, and guys were like, you just relieved me. How the hell did you get back? You're a boss.
Yeah, tell us a little how that went about. How it
didn't go over well with some folks, How the hell did you get a spot, So, so I was at the Rock doing rope training because I did not enjoy covering because every night you're sizing you up. where'd you work? This thing. So I used to come up with a line, 43rd Street. And only guys who into the job knew there was 2 companies on 43rd Street. They just wanted an answer. So that you'd hear the guys go, "Oh, this guy's from Midtown. Never mind. We're on our own tonight." You know?
We're on our own tonight.
We'll see what happens.
He's been to 2 fires his whole life.
Pretty much, yeah. So, but with that, then this squad concept came up and squad tryouts happened. So I was one of the monitors during it. And, you know, I was like, oh boy, this is great. So it was funny. I didn't put in for it. And it was George Crucia that said to me, "Your name's not on the list." I said, "Lou, I just got promoted a couple of months ago." He goes, "You're exactly what they're looking for." You know, with
love that guy.
You know, and I did. And so fortunately, Dennis had recognized me from some rope training that we had done. And
you guys didn't really know each other, like from outside of that?
Other than through Rocco. And you know, because we didn't really bounce around that much. And when Dennis was in 2, and you know, they wasn't like it is today with SOC, where we're kind of like our own battalion.
Right.
So, you know, I was really thankful that I got drafted, you know, and then just being a new boss and a new unit. I know it pains Rescue Forwarded, but it was probably my best time on the job. That time I did with squad, it was just really rewarding. Just, you know, taking 24 guys, you know, and making it a unit under Dennis's leadership, and it really was. And just the fact that everything was an uphill battle, you know, all our neighbors hated us. And I was like, it was
136, right? Everybody.
all of them, you know, it was, you know, all the cat calling on the radio and, you know, all the silliness. Yeah. But I kind of like that, being that adversary like that, and just saying, we'll show them. And we did. Oh, you did. And
Lou, I say all the time on the show, it's, you know, your whole career is special, right? But there's times that are really, and in each place, you've been to quite a few places that are really incredible places. But there's, even in those places, there's time slots that are just really, when you look back at your career, like they were like the sweet spots, you know what I mean? And for me, you know, obviously those first 2 years were great. And then after 9/11, everything changed, right? It was the same thing in 290, you know, it was great in 103. And then Richie passed away, Scafani died, and it changed, right? So it was exactly that. I felt that, you know, that the squad was 25 new guys, right? We had all new bosses. You know, you were a certain way, Ongara was a certain way, Lou B was a certain way, and of course, Cap Murphy was a certain way. And, you know, half the guys were under 5 years, I think, probably.
Yes, they were. Yeah.
And, you know, and then you had Hank and Ronnie and Jerry Murph and Bill Hill and a couple of guys there that were senior guys that really, I think it was perfect time. You know, and we were aggressive and we enjoyed the shit out of it.
What do you think about that many young guys? Were you at all concerned that there was a lot of young guys?
No, because you had mentioned it in one of the podcasts I looked at. I just tried to do a little research. But, you know, we kind of set up scenarios on squad tryouts where we weren't looking at technique. We were looking at heart. And, you know, we saw guys that would go beyond, like when we gave you the 2.5 and we said, you know, you're by yourself, take it down the hallway, keep the nozzle open, keep operating, dragging the line by yourself. You have to make to the end. You know, the guys that did that, we were like, yeah, that guy, you know, meanwhile, we're playing at the Rock. And you were like, that showed a lot of tenacity. And when you come out, like you said, they're not taking a knee. They kept their coat buckled and they were like, what else you got? You know, we're like, this one. So all the captains were there. So, you know, we were the guys setting up the scenarios, doing a reset, next group of guys, and just going about it. And, you know, it really, for the folks that showed up, it was quite a talent pool to amass that group and then, you know, start the training. I mean, I love when a few times we'd go out after midnight to go look at commercial buildings, go on a roof down in Maspeth and Hazmat.
Maybe Coca-Cola. I don't know.
They would be hooking themselves up to an AED that we're going out at midnight to drill. You know?
Oh, Hazmat?
Oh my God. You remember that stuff? Oh, my God.
Hazmat dilemma, too tired to eat, you know.
Coombs, was it? So,
any Newmans in there?
Oh.
Oh.
So I was in Captain Murph's and Ungaro's groups. Whose groups were you in, Kev?
So I had Quick as my chauffeur.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And
Quick here.
Quick here.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a good story.
I had Sweeney, Ielpi.
That's right. You were.
We got that picture there, guys.
You were in the trouble groups where they were always had to be put in the.
Right.
One of the squad pictures, the dirty pictures.
I have this one.
No.
And
in front of the rig. No, not that one.
God dang it! Do we have this one?
No, that's rescue one.
Squad picture.
It's a job picture, and
I have a bunch of them, so I'm going through.
Yeah.
Just
no problem.
We have this is Coobs.
So we're at the Rock.
That's when we. Oh, that's Lou B.
Headquarters. Yep.
That was when we first became the squad.
That's the christening of the squads with Von Essen.
Oh, this guy.
This is the job.
Yeah.
So Ielpi's on the left.
Yep.
Lieutenant Kelly, Quick. That's Paulie Baldwin. He transferred over from Rescue 1.
Fahey.
And that's Brian Fahey. And that's
Eric
Allen.
Eric Allen.
So I was looking at this picture, and there's a lot of those pictures that I see. And, you say to yourself, when you took this picture, if somebody said to you, whatever, 5-10 years from now, only 2 of you guys are going to be around. Like, it's just these crazy things that I think about when I look at some of my pictures that,
No, you're absolutely right.
I mean, but I don't know where this job was, but that's the old Mac. So that was early on.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, I have, the stories were quick. And so I should tell that story real fast. So Billy Quick was the chauffeur. So I guess I was probably working a Mutual or something. And I always tell this to Lieutenant Kelly all the time. I was sitting in the kitchen with my back to the front of the firehouse. We had big windows in the front on the second floor. And I was reading the paper and I was having a cup of coffee. I was by myself. And Lieutenant Kelly comes in. He gets a cup of coffee. And he comes and he leans against the table. He doesn't sit down, but he leans against the table. But he's looking out in front of the firehouse. And and he's taking like a sip of coffee, and I'm looking at the paper on the table. We're bullshitting a little bit, I would imagine. And he says to me, he goes, "Oh, there goes my chauffeur." And I look over at him and he's sipping his coffee, looking out the front of the firehouse. And I turn around and I look out the front of the firehouse window, I'm looking like this, and I see Billy Quick in his car. He had a blue, like
a Land Cruiser.
Yeah, it was like a Land Cruiser,
one of a kind.
One of a kind. And he's driving down the service road.
He's
but
going
he's
to
working.
an auto parts store.
Yeah. So he's working. So I'm like this. And Lieutenant Kelly, he's like this. He's like this. And he just walks out of the kitchen, and he walks in the back. And I remember saying to myself, think about how that's, after all the stories I have, that sticks out to me, because I jumped up, I ran downstairs. I'm like, where the F is Quick, So we get on, he took a radio with him. So we get him on the radio.
Citywide.
Yeah.
Right?
He went down like 2 blocks or 3 blocks to the auto parts or whatever the heck he was. He came back right away. I'm like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Lieutenant Kelly, it still sticks to me. Like you said, you think about how you were there, right? I try to figure myself, not getting too, as a boss, too upset over things. I know some bosses that would have been like, what the hell's going on? He would have ran downstairs, you went back in the office, right? I think to myself, that sticks out to me, all these little stories. So, Gons, what would you do?
Drop to your knees and say, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah. I got one. See if you remember. Do you remember when we did
Bill just said Quick did that at the Rock too.
We did the drill.
He has a reputation.
He got jammed up for that one, though, I think.
Yeah, a little bit.
You remember we did the drill down in the water tunnel? We went down the water tunnel in Maspin, and we came up, and what do we see when we came up? Do you remember?
No.
Billy Quick was sunbathing with his shirt off.
Yes.
Shirt off.
Oh, he looked like a walrus.
He looked like a walrus with suntan lotion on, laying on top of the ring.
on the box, and which was like, oh my God.
Dude, I love that
Surprise! Yeah, the Oceanic Society didn't drag him back.
Dude, I've seen that guy in a couple of jobs though, man. Like little hairy jobs that he calmed people down. Like
if you were jammed up,
you want he's in the top 3, man.
Yeah.
Guys used to say all the time,
he's probably the guy that got you there.
But he would come get you, bro. No doubt about it.
He actually came and spoke, I don't know, probably a couple of years before he passed, down by my fire department down here for one of our guys graduating. He came down and he was sweating like a pig in the hallway. He's like, this fucking building's hot. I can't believe it's just totally soaked in it. And it's full class A, the whole thing. Sweating like a pig, man. I was like,
he would get completely naked and jump up on the kitchen table like a fucking an ape.
Yeah, he would do this, like this. He would go on the cabinets, and the hazmat, all the old hazmat guys would be mortified. You know what I mean? His ball bag was hanging out and everything. You know, it was like so funny.
That's a huge bitch.
He definitely
he was one of a kind,
entertaining. You know.
Yeah. I gotta say though, getting back to something that you just said, like there was never a time, because even on Garo used to do it. 3 o'clock in the morning. All right, guys, we're going to drill. Nobody would ever complain. Like,
you're right.
We're going out. Nobody would complain. Forget about during the day drilling. Like guys would bitch. I'd go on a detail of other firehouses. Guys would bitch if they had to drill. We'd be drilling at 3 o'clock in the morning. Nobody would ever complain.
I agree, Milner. Glenn Harris was he might be number 1 if I was in the basement. Who's coming to get me?
Yeah. No, they're very similar.
Yeah,
Evan, I always loved when I saw you coming to work. You would you'd put your gloves on, you know, the latex gloves like you were a proctologist, and you would check that rig out from basically bumper to bumper, and then you'd snap the gloves off and you'd say, "Now we're ready."
Now we're
ready. You know what just reminded me of that? Karanji at the anniversary the other night said the same thing. He says, "You prick used to check the rig from stud to stern before I even got in every fucking
just you cracking those gloves off, you know." And if somebody said, "Yeah, I got that," you'd be like, "Yeah, that's nice." Yeah. And you would just be, and then you'd be like, "The exam is over, and the doctor says we're good to go." And it was, and you know what I loved? It wasn't just a flash in the pan. You did that always, and it was nice to see. And you know, if other guys pick up like that.
Oh no, they definitely Coobs. Well, yeah. Coobs ended up after 9/11.
It was a great habit that you had, and I appreciated it very much.
Thank you.
After 9/11, Kevs became he was the guy.
I was for a little while,
and that's a good reason. Yeah, good mom. Yep.
All right, so let's get to where are we? We're at the squad, and you decide now you're going to fulfill your lifelong dream, and you're going to be a lieutenant in Rescue 4. How'd that happen? You get the call, or you knew you wanted to go?
Yeah. I mean, I can remember distinctly, you know, so Brian Hickey and I, we ended up going to college together out in Suffolk, and he was big with the fireman eligibles. And so we got friendly with each other. And then he went to Manhattan when he got on the job. He had some major weight. And then he came to 38, and we worked there, and he left 38. And went to 4 as a fireman. So, you know, it was great to get reacquainted with him after all those years. And he calls me up. I'm off duty, and he just became the captain of Rescue 4. And he says, I need 3 lieutenants, and would you be willing to come over? And I said, I just have to make 1 phone call. My wife was with me, so that would have been 2 phone calls. I called Murph and I said, I can go to 4. You know, what's your thoughts? And he goes, go, you know, and, you know, I felt bad, but I then got back to Brian and I said, let's leave it till it's on the order. And then when you Jagaloon saw it on the order, then you lost you have a lot.
Yeah, we were heartbroken.
I kept it under wraps, you know, until I was in the clear, you know, and, but it was, you know, we're right next to each other. So running in with us just became, it heightened the game even more of beating each other in.
Oh my God. I used to love that.
Yeah.
That was so much fun to do that. I mean, I loved it. It's like it's in you. That's it. You just have to beat the other guy, even if you didn't do shit at the job. As long as you beat him to the freaking job initially, you know.
We went to a job in the projects in Long Island City. Quick was driving, and I'm going to call it a Brooklyn thing. I'd never seen it ever down there with locking up the wheels on the rig, you know, coming into the box. Well, he slid with the engine and he rear-ended 4.
I was working. The four kept getting closer.
I said,
closer.
I was impressed right up until you hit him. I said, before you do anything, make sure that we didn't kill the chauffeur, will you please? And back it up 10 feet so we could deny any knowledge of this.
And we hit him hard.
Oh, we whacked him squarely, and they weigh 80,000 pounds.
All I kept seeing was the 4 getting bigger and
Me
bigger.
too. Wait, you're in the back. I'm right there.
Who was that was you were in the squad at the time?
Yes, I was.
Shit.
The old Mac. Oh, we hit him so square there wasn't a mark on the rig.
So hard, man. I'm like, holy
and we moved that rig probably about 3 feet. You know,
Yep.
it was like, I said, right up until you hit him, I was impressed.
He shot.
You idiot.
He was shot down.
Oh, he really was.
He was shot.
Yeah, like I said, I got in a few with him, but none reported. You know,
Right. Now, when did you get there? You got the 4 in what? 2000.
2000. Yeah. Right.
All right. And Brian Hickey went over. I mean, not Brian Hickey. Brian Fahey went over one after you or before you?
No, before me.
Oh, so he was already there.
Yeah. Yep.
You remember where this picture was?
No, I don't.
You know what that was? That was.
It looks like one of the spares, though, right?
That was the oil tanker that flipped over on the BQE on the.
Oh yeah.
You remember
when
they
stole the truck and they flipped it on the.
And the guy was burned up in there. The fuel was going down under the thing going into the sewers on fire. And
Dave Rayner, the tall guy with the short sleeve shirt, he moved that tractor trailer. He popped the air brakes. The next thing I see him going down the service road in the tractor trailer, just rolling. I'm saying, Dave, just make sure you know how to stop the damn thing. We already got one flipped over. And then I just remember because the chief parked in the gas station across the street, and the Ansel system dumped.
Oh, went off? No.
Oh God,
shit.
yeah, that car was covered, and we're just like, wow, that's probably not a good place to go. Yeah, we got on that pretty quick. You know, that was a lot of fire.
Yeah,
it was. I have a couple pictures. We didn't do anything.
Yeah, we got. You know, my thing was there's somebody in the cab, and we got 1045. Of course, it was very bad. But it was just,
it was roasted.
We kind of made that our mission to just, that was about the only thing we could do. It was really just a lot of fire. You know.
Oh my God, it was roasting.
Right? It was everything.
Yeah, the whole sign. I have a picture of the sign. The BQE sign was all burnt.
Yeah.
Now, did you know Brian before? I mean, from outside in the volleys at all?
No, just from going to school with him, and then when he came to 38, like I said, it was just like, holy crap, I remember you, and so yeah, it was just a fun time, and we gave me that opportunity of going there,
right?
And it was fantastic because that was another unique thing. He had 3 new lieutenants, Kevin Dowdell, John Weisheit, and myself, and he was a new boss, new captain, I should say. He was a lieutenant and all, but the Notre Dame's emblem of the Fighting Irish, he was the epitome of that little Irishman.
He was, yeah.
Oh, he definitely, not a big man, but he was a giant. He was really a great guy, great boss.
I think his son went to 126, right?
Well, he's in Rescue 4.
Rescue 4 now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
behind the times.
Yep.
Oh, look at those guys. There's Richie Schmidt, big hands.
Schmidt, Charlie.
Charlie Weeman.
Yep.
This is compliments of Joe S. from the chat.
Yes, I was going to say, Joe took that picture. Yeah, this was, I remember that. we had that Oklahoma rig that I called it
Spirit Oklahoma.
It's all windshield. I was like, holy crap, I'm going to get killed in this thing.
Those Ferrara rigs, right?
Oh, my God.
Richie Smith was driving down Queens Boulevard. Holy shit, man. He's right up there with 290, bro, with that rig. He wheels that son of a gun.
Well, the windshield was about knee height. I said,
Again,
rattling, and then, well, Zielman, I don't know how many mirrors. I think I did, we would either find out we get replacements or we go to truck junkyards. I think he's, it wasn't so bad when he took out his mirror, but when he took out mine, it was like, all right, now you're getting serious,
Gons, where's that other picture with me and the Lou? I think I was telling him that's when he first went to Rescue 4. I was telling him, yeah, you missed a good job in here first too.
Look at that nice shiny front piece.
That thing was so nice.
That's when he looked good. Look at him. He's got the stash.
Was that the one where Tommy Macri had to go out there with a head first ladder slide out the window? That was
over by that was like Pollock Alley. That was like Ola tenement type.
Oh no, okay.
Pollock Alley over there.
Man, I can't. I'm dying with Lou with hair here. Look at this.
Yeah. They get the chops too.
Oh, he's got the big chops going on there. So it was actually Brian Hickey who was working for Father's Day, right? It wasn't.
Yeah, it was. So it was really unique because Harry was my chauffeur, and we were doing hazmat training, and I said that, Harry, let's choose this week. We'll be off Father's Day, and he's like, nah, boss, I got something to do. So Brian was working overtime somewhere else, and he worked the night before. So he asked, hey, listen, I'll just stay here in my own place, So, it was one of those things of, as fate would have it. So I'm home studying for captain Father's Day, and, you hear that, and it just, it kind of changed everything, because studying wasn't so important anymore, after that, when you just, it just impacts you in such a way.
Right.
No, it changes everything. The whole firehouse changes when that,
losing Harry was, as well as Brian, they would just, Harry was just, I would always get a kick. The Chiefs would call him like, Division 1-4 to Harry, You're like, well, I'm kind of a big wheel around here.
Yeah.
That's fucking funny.
Yeah. If I ever worked at Ford, like they'd be eating ice cream or something, and I wouldn't be eating it, and he'd say, "Hey, Kubla, you know what? Eat what you want and die when you're supposed to." All right.
That's a Harryism for sure. Yeah.
I see his kid now. His kid's in 108, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
A big kid.
Yep. He is. Yeah. Harry was, great guy. When Citywide Details first started, he walked to Rescue 1.
Oh shit.
I was like, what the hell? And when, there was no cell phones or anything. He comes in like, you got to be kidding me, So I think in the morning I said, Harry, I'll give you a ride back. He's like, yeah, that's great. It was, it was a long walk, It was to prove a point, but.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what's even harder was that 9/11 was so close to that, man, where, barely recovering from Father's Day, and Rescue 4, they lost everybody. Right? How many guys did they lose from 4?
There were 9 guys that day. Hickey was working in Rescue 3. So he had relieved me Sunday night. It was his first tour back, and he was working Sunday night and Monday day. And he said to me, I've been out a while. And I was just like, oh, so glad to have you back. And he said, I'm either going to play golf Tuesday or I'm going to take overtime in 3. And they had just bought a new house. And I was like, just welcome back. And he took the overtime in 3. And, that was that. So Kevin Dowdell was the boss in 4. And I had called Kevin when it happened, being Buffy and all. I had a scanner in the car. And, and I'm like, Kevin, something just happened down the Tracy. He goes, yeah, we're watching it. He goes, hey, we're getting a ticket. I'll talk to you later.
No shit.
It's like, wow. And so I was working with Hank on a side job and with Ronnie Geese and all of them. And, as the day went on, we were like, something's really bad's happened. So we all went to work. And like you said, our lives changed for thereafter. And I didn't think I swung a hammer again after that. That was the last day with the side job,
Really? I had so many guys tell me that you were really a big part of carrying that firehouse after 9/11. I said you wouldn't, you wouldn't maybe, you're a very modest person, but a lot of guys said to me that Timmy Kelly is what got Rescue 4 through that time.
Thank you. It was, but there were a lot of good guys that, you know, they were tenacious. You know, Liam Flaherty, Billy Murphy, Eddie Morrison, you know, and Ed Zillman, you know, and it goes on and on. And, you know, just channeling that was my biggest thing of, you know, they were not going to be denied. You know, and we set up an incredible network of accurate information. There was so much misinformation, and these poor families were just getting a lot of bad stuff. And we're like, listen, we got a guy there. They basically were there 24/7 forever. And we have a guy there. I'll call him right now. And we're standing, you know, he's there, right? And we would get him a little better handle on what's actually happening. So yeah, it was interesting. So you know, studying for captain, I never attained the rank, but I definitely had that unit, and just selecting all new guys. I had to recruit new guys and get them. And, you know, there you are on the phone trying to call companies like, I need your best guys. And they're like, why? And I'm like, I need some spots to fill. And then some guys, you know, a lot of guys stepped up, and,
Right.
you know, it just, you know, getting a company back in service again and starting a rescue school. It was almost like, you know, rebuilding, or, you know, starting the squad. It was rebuilding the rescues. And we were all unique, you know, the rescues and some of the challenges. And, you know, the squads, as you guys know, were decimated, and we were almost like every man for himself to rebuild your unit. You know, we couldn't look globally. We just had to
Right.
get ourselves back online and take care of our folks too. That was a big part of it. You know, you know, I wish I was better identifying that and keeping them with us. But you know,
There were thoughts of actually collapsing the squads, right, and merging.
It was
them into the
initially.
rescues?
Yeah, yeah, and you know, it seemed like the quick fix, so to speak,
Right.
of just hey, how about we do this and then consolidate a few. But I think, you know, our early years proved their worth, and you know, I think what they realized is, wait a minute, we got this. What we have left is they're really good. So, you know, who knew if more attacks would be coming? We would need additional. So I think our short history proved we're very valuable to the fire department, and thankfully it persevered.
It was a blur, man.
Yeah. I just remember
think
John
that's
Gain
blurry.
called me and asked me, say, hey, if they do that, would you think about coming over?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were all, yeah, we were definitely recruiting, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, like I said, it was every company for themselves had to you know, rebuild and get them where you could. And like I said, I got a lot of great guys. Just you know, they showed up and stepped up really. They were from great houses, and you know, I just remember sitting them on the stool and having a conversation of, you know, you realize, you know, what we just went through, and it may not be over. So you know, just consider that before you.
Yeah, you know, I never really thought about that, actually, that you guys lost both officers there. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you know, I had to get a captain. And I was calling places like, do you want to be the captain? And they were like, who are you to call me?
who was the next captain? Was it Gandiello? No.
No. Paul Hagelin came.
Oh, Hagelin. Right.
And then we had Hagelin for a while, but
Right.
it was, it took a while to fill that, you know, and then Lieutenants Larry Archer came. We got Tommy Sullivan.
I remember Larry.
You know, and you know, so we were, you know, it was like the three lieutenants running the show, you know, which was great. We had a really nice system there. Really got it back together very quickly. And the other thing was unique is our rig survived 9/11. You know, it was kind of interesting. We had to find it. So Zielman and I, John Norman had said, your rig survived, find it. So I did a mixer off and asked the Manhattan CO, and they're like, the last we knew, it's at Pace University providing power. And, you know, I get back to Eddie and there it is sitting next to 10 and 10, like it just came out of a, you know, they're sitting there like a horse coming back to the barn. And I go, there it is right there.
That's the one in the Hall of Fame now, right?
It is. It is. And, you know, I went out for that dedication of that thing. It's just those
They
guys
did a great job
on that thing. It's
Dude, I remember Zielman, man. We had him on the show. He was one of my favorite guys. He's just he was a beast of a guy, right? I always looked up to him because I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I know he was a 33 truck guy, and I wanted to go to 33 and the whole thing. And when he was talking about when they wouldn't let us in, right? They wouldn't let us on the site. The cops were blocking everything off, and all the firemen were pushing. He was the front guy.
We had a picture of him. I think.
Yeah. He was just, and I was a couple guys behind him, you know, like that. But he was a presence, right? And
yeah. He
a hairy beast.
Great guy, man. another hairy dude.
So after Father's Day, I chose him as my chauffeur, and you know, just his level of dedication. He would be up at night just studying the Queen's map. You know, I mean, just you love when you see that. You know, and you know, he just didn't want to make a mistake. You know, and you know, great, funny man.
Funny fucking guy, man.
Oh my God! Some of the things he did to visitors and guests is just, you know, he could drop his drawers faster than I've ever seen. Out west would be the quickest drawer in the.
That's a beach guy. That's why.
Louis loves him because he gave me a good zing on the show, right?
He gave him Coobs the best zing that we've ever had on the show in 3 years.
He's not easy to get, you know. I mean,
no, Coobs. Oh, you can't get Coobs.
Right.
Coobs
He shocked me. Yeah.
So Z-Man's son works out.
Do that. Yeah.
Z-Man's son works. He lives in Long Beach, so it's right by Coobs, right? And he works out in the same gym. So Coobs says something like, "Hey, dude, I see your son all the time. Like, if you ever come up, you know, let's get together. We'll get a drink. You know what I mean? If you're always, you know, he's up there.
Sure.
Oh, good for you. Now you think froze.
Oh, he's froze.
So fuck you saying that story.
I'm frozen? Am I frozen?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
She's
fast.
Nice.
So he goes, yeah, Coobs, when I come up to New York, there's a short list of people I want to see, and you ain't on it.
I was like, oh.
I think I saw his bottom lip do this.
You know what the funny part is when I do see him up here, he's like the best guy. Hey, what's going on? He's babysitting his grandkids or something, you know?
Right.
So he's full of shit, man.
That was awesome.
And you know who else
we had a chief come in and he wanted a roll call, and I wasn't very skilled at doing formal roll calls, and the chief was there wasn't exactly one of our friends, and
it wasn't my brother, was it?
No, it was. Well, you know what's funny? Initially, we weren't best friends, but we learned to like each other. He came to my retirement party. You know, I mean, it meant a lot to me. He's, but no, it wasn't. But anyway, the chief says, "You don't do many roll calls, do you?" I said, "Not actually." And then he said, "By the way, tell your chauffeur to shave." And Zielman was doing something. I gave a silly face like shock, and I said, "Chief, that man's a chia pet. He was clean shaven 2 hours ago." And if you stand next to him, you could hear his hair growing. He's just like, you're a clown, aren't you? You know. But
subtle. See, he's very subtle, that Kelly. I like it.
Then he asked me, "Aren't you going to invite me back for coffee?" I said, "Not after that roll call, no." So he invited himself back.
Yeah, here's your hat. What's your hurry? Get out.
He was unhappy with something we had done, but it's always in our, you know, us trying to do what we like to do best, you know.
Yeah.
God,
make it go away.
Pictures? Oh, we have a few. Yes,
Come on, let's hit him.
All right, let me go back up to one.
You know what I was going to say, too? You know who we lost there? One of his first tours back, Mr. Peabody, right? Petey Brennan.
Yes.
Peabody. I don't think they ever found him in Dowdell, right?
Kevin, they found his tool. He had a very unique Halligan, but no, we did not. And Pete, we did not. So it was, I can almost imagine Kevin saying, "Stay with me."
Right.
He was only there. So Pete did a lot of work for us at Father's Day after, as well as transmitted the
the second alarm, right?
Whose authority? Hazmat 1. I was like, man,
that is one of the most priceless transmissions I've ever heard.
I said, how the hell did you think of that so quickly? I was outstanding on your part, you know. So, but yeah, I said to Brian, bring this guy over. He's, if anything, he's entertaining, but he's a great engine guy.
And Quick hates him.
And Quick hates him.
I didn't
Those
realize
two guys
that.
were like freaking.
But I would have
my God.
ended up with both of them, so it would have been fine with me.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What do you
All
got,
right.
John? You got a couple more?
Yeah, we got a few more. We got a little bit of something a little different here.
Where is that?
Where is this?
So this is out east. After my FDNY career, I worked for a federal agency and just kind of ended up as chief of department out there. And so it was, one firehouse. Yeah, 2 engines and or an engine, a truck, and a rescue. And so it was kind of cool. But we would get called off site. So it was at an incident on the LIE. But
So you
So you're
started
doing
as a
this.
fireman
You
there,
over
though,
there.
right?
You over
I
there.
did.
You over there.
I did.
Fireman and went to chief of department like that. Boop.
You over there. You over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just worked out. It's just I think it was probably attributed. You're into it. You want to do more, and I think people notice that you just work hard and you just can't do enough. In terms of making yourselves better, making the place better, and really try to improve the group. So,
All right.
He's one of those sock guys. Can't do enough, bro. That's what he said.
then you put us with 25 others, and it's just turns into
That's so
a
true.
fun day.
Yep.
One day.
All
What else you
right.
got, guns?
We got this. We got this one.
Oh, there's the Peabody too on the left.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Brennan, Glidden, Fahey, Corrado,
Left.
Kubla. He's like 5'6" in that picture. Devolio, Geese.
Wait,
and
5'6" what? You talking about
Yeah.
my height?
Yeah, yeah, like you look like a baby next to those men.
Man, it's like 4'11".
Yeah. Yeah. My
Hurt my
goodness.
feelings,
That's why I
guys.
jumped up on the.
Smart man. Smart man.
All right. So I got one from Mr. Joe again. I got this guy.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's John Dillon there in the back. Dead center, man, with the white
Oh,
shirt.
nice.
Larry
Yeah.
Archer.
Yeah. Yeah. So
The
Yep.
shoe. The cheese. There's the
Schumacher.
cheese.
please, yeah.
Cheese looks like he's going to a luau.
That's Sully right in the middle. What's
Like I said, I look like I'm wearing the tablecloth, man.
Either that or he just stepped down to the 70s, maybe. I don't know. Wow,
that is-
wow.
Yeah, for sure. All right. And then I got this guy.
Yep.
This is Saint. I guess somebody said Saint.
There's Andy Gorn, and who else is in there?
You got Hassick.
Hassick? Will
Oh,
Hassick. I
Hassick,
came
yeah,
on with
Hassick.
Willie.
Yeah. Did you?
I
Great
did.
guy. Oh my God. They're all funny, dude. Sean
Love
Parker.
Sean Parker. Love
Yeah.
that guy too, man.
Is he still on the job, Sean?
I
Yes.
think he is.
Yeah. Yes, he
Wow.
is.
on, right?
He's doing it.
No, he's up in 3 now.
Oh, is he in 3? Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Huh.
Awesome. And then
Who's the
we.
guy with the dungaree jacket in the front there?
John Gabelli.
I see him in the bank all the time. He lives in Long Beach.
Yeah.
Look
No.
at Griffin.
Good guy. Good
Yeah.
guy.
Is Ray the senior guy there? Is Ray still there?
He's out right. He's on medical leave right now. But yeah, he's still there. He's probably right up there. But Richie's.
Oh,
Yeah.
Richie Schmidt's the senior
All
guy.
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ray's there.
Well, Ray's got more time in the company now.
Yes, he does.
I came out with Ray. Ray was in my Probie class.
Nice. And
What else
we
you got?
we briefly peeked at this one before. If you want to
Yes.
touch on it a little bit
Oh,
more.
Lou B,
Yep.
Lieutenant Ongaro. God bless him.
Yeah.
No
You
doubt.
wouldn't want to grapple with that guy, though. He's a good wrestler.
Were you a wrestler, Lou?
No.
No, I'm talking about Ongaro.
No, I know. I understand that. I was asking Lou if
You
he was a
kidding me?
wrestler.
Oh,
No.
We're wrestling it.
Hey, you're talking to my guy all wrong.
Can't
It's
tell
the wrong
he's a
tone.
wrestler.
Do it again. I'll stab you in the face with a soldering iron.
Now we got this one. Coop sent us over. He wanted to show a picture of himself.
That was the second alarm we went to.
Yep. You got Magellan there, Murphy.
There he is.
Nice.
Chris Carangi. Tito.
Yep.
And John Ielpi again.
Yeah.
I hope he used to catch work, bro.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
definitely out to prove something, that man.
Right?
Yep.
No,
Always.
he was a good
funny.
fireman.
Oh
bro.
my God. The
He
things
was
that
going to
come
be a
up.
good, really, really, really good. I mean, he was then too, but he was young.
Yeah.
He was aggressive.
He could get under your skin. They wanted to pummel him in Probie school. That's how.
I want to pummel him everywhere. He'd go
He did. Paul would want to pummel him.
right, and you get somebody like Paul upset. Father
That's
Baldwin.
hard.
Father Baldwin
unscrewed the bottom of his locker and slid a pizza in and screwed it again, and it got so rotten in Ielpe's locker. Like I could see him come up every tour, like, "You smell it?" I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
I don't smell nothing, bro. It was there for like 6 months until he finally took his whole locker apart.
Nice. All right, and I get 2 more. We got this one.
Yep.
Wealthy.
That's Joe Fable, Wealthy,
Yeah.
Quickie, Joe Hunter, one of my favorite guys.
Yeah. So we went to take that picture, with the World's Fair globe out there, and
The Globe.
Yeah, were they filming Men in Black at that time?
And that's Woody McHale, right?
Yeah.
From
Yeah, it is
52.
Yep.
God rest his
He
soul,
passed
too,
away
man.
not too long
Yep.
ago.
Yep.
Nice.
Football
Nice.
player, Big Woody.
All right, and the last one I have is this guy.
Wow.
It's kind of very
Huh.
official.
That was the crew right there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is you guys just had that squad anniversary. Was pretty impressive.
Squad anniversary.
They had this picture, and then they had the picture now, 25 years later, of all the guys. It was pretty cool how they did it. They
I
took it
can
the
never
same
get
spot.
away from Refrano. I'm standing next to Refrano again. How does that?
Oh, you
always work?
yeah. How do you pick yourself out? Oh, okay. I got
Stand
you.
up.
I was gonna say, stand up. Be counted, will you?
Another height show. Another height show. Stop! You're gonna give me a complex soon. Like I don't know. I'm short. Come on. Will you?
Come on, guy.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Oh, my face hurts.
Well, that's it. That's what we have for photos.
That's what we got. I think you know what time it is, then, bro.
I think I know what time it is too. I think
What time
Good.
is it, Gons?
I know what time it is. You ready for the music?
I'm
Are you
doing
ready,
music. I thought you had it all, Mr. Music.
I don't
Man.
have this one, Mr. Music Man.
So fuck.
I
now
need
you.
you.
Don't have it. Now
Kevin,
you need me.
Kevin, I need you.
All right. You ready?
Ready?
This is
Here we
what
go.
time it is.
Go.
It's time for the old school tip of the day.
Take it away, sir.
You guys have quite a few milestones, and seeing some of your previous shows. I mean, how much more could we go over? But so I was just thinking of something that you need to do well, because if you don't, I'm speaking from personal experience, and I just say going in and out of a window. Make sure you can execute that move very well from a portable, from a roof, and then once you get in, make sure there's a floor, because I've done that twice where there wasn't. So I just thankfully survived on both falls, but the only thing was hurt was my pride. And the other one is coming out. And if you want to execute that maneuver where you look like you know what you're doing, with a mask on, without making anybody too concerned for your own safety, do so, but do it quickly. So I was just trying to think of, for myself, just getting that maneuver in and then back out again, because it doesn't go well on the way out. Usually you're in a hurry if you're on the floor above.
I was just going to say it. We used to practice that in the squad a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
Remember Joe Hunter used to do the jump head first, grab the top rung, and swing himself.
Oh my
around?
God, yes, right.
Swing out to the side. You used to wrap your hand under the rung,
But he would
and then
head first, fly out,
he would,
bro.
no, but we would tie each other off so that, but like the Lou just said, you're going to be coming out of there in a hurry. So,
and it's the guy behind you that's going to make sure that you're
you're
getting out.
Pushed out the window.
Of course, you don't want to be the first guy, but sometimes.
Yeah, he gets to take his time. You're the one that's got to get out of the way. You know what I mean?
But I just figured just the basic thing, and just doing conventional hook and ladder.
Thing.
It was always portable ladders. I used to steal a ladder off the engine because I couldn't do the 24-foot ladder off the truck. It took 2 guys, and I wasn't capable. So I'd grab the one off the engine all the time, and I could always run around the back with the engine's 24-footer, and it was just a lot faster for me. I can handle that.
I'll tell you one thing too, is when you're going in the window, most of the time you have an audience.
Yes.
So you're better off making sure that you do your calisthenics and practice that maneuver, like you said, because
just hooking your leg on a curtain coming out, it's like, holy Christ.
Or if you got to take out the window guards or any of that
then
stuff.
you got one leg in, you feel your hamstring ready to pop. And like, I'm okay.
I'm good.
I'm good. I meant that. You know?
No, it's good. That's definitely a great tip, man.
You go. What do you got? You go, we go.
Gans is on fire.
Dude, who is this guy? He's pulling up pictures all over the place. He's earned the spot here, man.
When I'm in the zone, it's the same thing. When you get in the zone.
You're in the zone. When you're in the zone, you're
when
in
I'm
the
in the zone, I'm in the zone. But, it's not always
well, I'm glad we finally got him, Roof. Well worth it. My face hurts. So many stories.
Yeah.
He's the man. Come on. He was the man then. He's the man now. He knows he's the man.
Once you're the man, you're always the man. That's what I say. Yeah. I think we got to take him up and go out to the garage, to the man shed.
Garage bar is open, yeah. And you know what? You're on my list, Coob. So the hell with Zealman. You're always
right, look at that. Zeal who? Zeal what?
Yeah, exactly.
Zeal what?
Exactly. Yeah. We won't tell stories about good old what's his name.
Exactly. I don't know if Roof can come down from God's country though.
I'll come down.
The trip is worth it.
It's
worth it. All right. You can't come to the trip on the 5th though.
No,
what happened?
I'll be down down south.
What a shame.
Yeah, I already booked it, Yeah, I know.
We have it every year, so you come on next year.
It would be a pleasure.
All right.
The train going by?
Okay. Yeah, well, that's my train. I got to catch it. The cash again. Listen, it's not all roses. I live on the other side of the tracks.
Oh, I got you. I don't have my phone here.
Oops.
Oh, yeah. He's got the house down south.
Got the Rocco money. You know what I mean?
I think he gets residuals on the Rocco money somehow. It comes in. Every rope bought, he gets something.
Look at his face. He's like this.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah. Good for him. He still looks good. Yeah. All right. So, what, you got anything, Roof? You got any shout outs for the end?
I don't. Did you want to go over those?
Just, I've been out a long time. You guys been after me for a long time as well. And, it was just really quite an honor that you had me on, and you always have real heavy hitters, and I'm just not.
Go home and get your fucking shine box.
But
I'm sorry.
I know well, and we ran in the same circles. So
we had you on the radar from Jump Street, fella.
Literally from the first when the first thought we had about doing this podcast, you were in the top 5, like right out of the box that we wanted to get, but obviously you were still working and you kept giving us that excuse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Louis, I met you in 117 when you were there, and I covered up in that battalion for a while. So
wow, you guys go way back.
Yeah,
way back.
Yeah, it was. So anyway, but good. But like I said, some of the folks we mentioned, and you're looking at the old school tip of the day. One of the things that, not related to firefighting, but I just, you got everybody coming on, like we talked about some, mental anguish we suffer and dealing with that. Take care of yourselves mentally, physically. It's, we deal with it differently today, but, being fit is, I'll win votes with Kuba on this. But, it's really the only tool that you're personally responsible for. Maintain a level of fitness. And, I found it was one of the things that kind of got me to retire. I just said I didn't want to, last guy up the stairs. I didn't want to be that guy of like, where the hell are you? So, you just got to be top of your game. And when you're not so much, I said, I don't want to do something second. So I left for and I wanted to leave on the top of my game. So,
and you want to retire and spend some of those years. My old man retired and died like 2 years later, something like that.
No, that is terrible. Right.
Yep.
Don't stay too long.
Yeah, stay healthy.
Guys, yep, stay fit, and I'm doing well and healthy, and it's. I had a few incidents before I retired, and you come to that realization. It's you don't dwell on it, but it's an incredibly dangerous job. I had a few run-ins, like tour after tour, and I was like, you rethink. I want to be around a little bit more. So, now my days are filled being grandpa days, and
I was just gonna ask you if you had grandbabies. Good for you.
Yep. So
I can't wait. Well, I can wait, but I really can't.
Again, thank you all.
problem.
Yeah.
But it sounds like the train's coming back for you.
It is. He's
You know what, Gonzo? I
Yes, sir.
could stay fit and live another 100 years, and I'll never have as much money as Rafrano. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there.
Is it like
fit, aren't you?
I'm on a fixed income, Lou.
There's my boy. There's
Smile and
my boy
wave.
Smile and wave, everybody.
smile? That's it. Smile away.
All right, Gonzo, play the outro for us, unless Ruff's got something.
No, I got nothing.
Did you guys want to? I'll play the banner, or the outro. But do you want to cover the yellow DDs?
I don't. My kid took my phone. I don't have the information. Do you have them?
I have a picture of them, but I don't have the actual.
You talked about this. Come on, we prepped.
I did. My son took the phone and put it on the charger for me, and I had it on my phone. So go ahead, Gons. We had a guy from Memphis, correct?
We had the gentleman last night from Memphis, Lieutenant Jeffrey Norman, and then a couple of nights ago we had the gentleman that got shot in Alabama, Birmingham. I'm sorry, Jordan Melton. So hopefully we'll rest in peace.
Both line of duties. I will give them the 5 bells because they are line of duty. So stand by. All right, brothers. Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Again, Lieutenant Kelly, I'll be in the man shed sooner than you can say Coobs. And Ruff, Gonzo, great show. Thank you. I'll see you. We'll see you guys next Thursday. We had a guest, but he kind of tapped out on us, so we'll be
Tapped out. We gotta go to the. We got a mutual. Get another mutual in here.
Yeah. You sure he didn't tap out? You know.
Are you doing the outro? What are you doing? You signed
Yeah,
up?
I was
What are you doing?
waiting for you. Yeah, I didn't want to overstep you. All right, here we go.
We'd like to thank you once again for tuning in to the Gettin' Salty experience. As always, if you think we're out of good content, far from it, of course, my friends. You can find us on LinkedIn. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Twitter and Facebook, the Gettin' Salty fans, and also Gettin' Salty Apparel is on Facebook, too, if you want to follow that page, if you're not doing so already. Audio-wise, iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, and anywhere else that you may get your podcast, YouTube, the Gettin' Salty experience, where if you subscribe to us, of course, you can click the bell to make sure you never miss a video of ours, whether it be a spotlight on, whether it be a cock lofts and cocktails or a brand new episode with a heavy hitter from the fire service. Be sure to do so. We thank you once again for tuning in to the Gettin' Salty experience.
Nice.
All righty. That's it. We'll see you guys next Thursday.
Yes.
Have a great night. Thanks, Lou.
Thanks, Lou.
Okay.
Until we see
you.
Stay low and go.
All right, everybody. We'll see you at the big one.
All right, guys. Be safe.